Hello, I'm going to do a brief segment on tuning your lever harp for the first time and locating which strings are which. Let me move this camera over. You can see all these levers up here. Now, of course, your harp might only have a few levers. Some harps just have them for the C's and F's, or maybe for the B's. Some smaller Celtic harps might not have any levers at all. Having levers lets you play in a number of different keys very easily. So, assuming that you have all these levers up here, these levers, of course, have two settings. They can be down, like they are right now, in which case that particular string travels from here all the way down to the sounding board. Or they can be raised, so that pushes the string over, so it's hitting against this now. It's actually shorter. It's just from here instead of from here. And it's a higher sound. And when I talk about higher or lower, this is the strings get smaller, that's they're getting higher. And as they get lower, or as they get longer, they're getting lower. That's just a way that we refer to sound as this is a low sound and this is a high sound. So when the strings are in their lower position, the string that it controls, or when the lever is in the lower position, the string is a lower sound, and when it's up in its upper position, the string is a higher sound. So when you have these full set of levers, what you want to do is to tune the harp with all the levers down, because if you're tuning while they're up, then if you're tuning this particular note, this string, which is an E, with a lever up, you might get it in tune, but when you pop it down, there's a chance that it will now be a little bit out of tune. So it's safer to tune them with all the levers down. And with all the levers down, what you want to do is tune it to the key of E flat. What does that mean? Well, when you're tuning a harp, it's really handy to have a nice little electronic tuner. This is a little Korg electronic tuner that's probably cost you about $40. It's pretty cheap, and it does a reasonably decent job. So what these little electronic tuners do is you can play a note, play a string, and it will indicate what that is. In this case, it's an E, and it's giving a little funny little symbol like a lowercase b, and that means it's a flat. So it's an E flat, and it's showing it's a little bit flat. This red light is lighting up, and the indicator is a little bit below the middle. So ideally, we would want that to be right in the middle. Let's see if that's pretty close. Yeah, that one's pretty good. And sometimes it'll fluctuate a little bit as you play it. So you pop this maybe on your music stand, and for example, with this E right here that was a little bit flat, I take my tuning pin. You should have a key, my tuning key. You should have something that looks somewhat like this. Pop it on the tuning pin, play this, and I tighten it a little bit. And as I tighten it, it will start to become sharper. It'll start to become a higher sound. And again, higher and lower correspond with flat and sharp. So if it's flat, it means it's a little bit lower, and if it's sharp, it means it's higher. You go from something that's a little bit flat, is you tighten it and shorten the string, it becomes higher, and eventually it will become sharp if you keep tightening the string. Now what you're looking for, I mentioned the key of E flat, what you're looking for is in each octave, and what happens in music is we have an octave, so that we have the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, for 7 letters, and they correspond to strings. This is an A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and then we start again. This is another A. So this is an octave. Those are both A's. One is just lower, and one is just higher. Here's another A, another A. So within an octave, what you're looking for to get the key of E flat is an A natural, a B natural, you're looking for an A flat, a B flat, a C natural, a D natural, an E flat, an F natural, and a G natural. In other words, they're all natural except for the A, the B, and the E. So when you're using your little tuner, when you're playing a C, it's showing up as C. When you're playing a D, it's showing up as a D. But now when you're playing this E, it's going to have this little flat, and I'm not sure how well this is showing up on the camera, but it'll have a little flat symbol by it, or this A will have a little flat symbol by it. Oh, aha! That A is actually showing that it's a G sharp. The tricky thing is that G sharp is the same sound as an A flat. So don't worry too much about that at this point, but just know that with these A's, we're looking for a G sharp, and B is a B flat, that's fine. So the E flat, the B flat, and this A is a G sharp. Harps are generally color-coded, with red being C and blue being F. So here's your C, this is B, this is A. It gives you a reference point. So if we tune this so that, this A is flat, or is showing up as a G sharp, either way, A flat, G sharp, same note, same sound. A B flat, a C, a D, an E flat. If we do that all the way up, starting at the bottom, going all the way up, then what we do is, probably for the first pieces that we're working on, we're going to be in the key of C. And C is what you would be in if you were just playing the white keys on the piano, if all the notes that you're playing are naturals. And to get that, what we're going to do is we're going to flip up all the A levers. So, we get all the A's, all the B's, and all the E's. So now we're in the key of C. And so these are what we're doing is putting up all the levers of the strings that we tuned to flat, or in the case of the A, to G sharp, and leaving all the strings that we tuned to, natural, C natural, D natural, just leaving those, but putting the A, the B, and the E up. And the reason to do this, the reason why you don't just, you could put all them down and tune to the key of C, so that just make all of them natural. Don't worry about these flats and sharps. But the problem with that is, pretty soon in your music, you're going to want to be able to play, instead of a B natural, you're going to want to be able to play a B flat. And if your lever's already down, you can't get that B flat. Of course, also, you may want an F sharp. Well, you can get an F sharp, so we're fine there. And it turns out that by tuning it to the key of E flat, like we're doing, we get, that's the sweet spot in terms of having the most number of accessible keys for us. We get, we can get all the way down to 3 flats, or all the way up to 4 sharps. So we get a range of keys that's right in sort of the playable area. So definitely get in the habit of tuning to E flat. And the final thing I want to say about tuning is just remember, whenever you're finished playing, to pop all the levers down, because it's just better for the strings when the harp's not being played, when it's just resting, to have the levers down. So now let's move on to learning to read music.